As you can see, I have like literally nothing. So I don't even have a roof over my head. So I'm gonna try and do some exploring, try and find like a village or something to get food and maybe do some mining as well. Today we have some recent stories that were all posted to r/slash best of Redditor updates. So we're gonna be looking at some juicy, interesting stories today. Let's get into it. The first story is called "For Months I Was Confused Why I Kept Finding Long Hairs in My House. Then I saw my neighbor coming out of my house." And just trigger warnings for this one: stalking, invasion of privacy, breaking an entry. This was originally posted to r/slash creepy encounters. The original post is posted on May 6, 2026. I'm a man in my 20s that lives alone on the very top floor of an apartment block. I've had short hair for the last 10 years of my life. The longest hair on my head is maybe an inch long, if that even. However, across my house I kept finding long hairs on the floor, like long brunette hairs, at least 5 to 6 inches, sometimes longer. And they would be everywhere: bathroom floor, in the shower, in my cupboard, in my kitchen, on old clothes, living room floor, and sofas, etc., etc. I've been single since November and clean often enough that I'm certain it's not my ex-girlfriend's hairs. Plus the color doesn't match anyway. She had solid black hair, these are more light brunette. Plus, finding them in the places like the shower, where running water is hitting all the sides 5+ times a week. Anyway, I waved it off as, well, I work with a lot of people and use the gym and bus sometimes, so naturally hairs are going to stick to my clothes. Well, one day this past April, I finished my early AM gym session and got the call that I didn't have to work that day. So naturally, I start to walk home all happy that I have the day to myself. I'm on the 5th floor, the uppermost floor, of the building, and the apartment is in such a way that there's only one apartment per floor. So I start to hustle up the stairs and I don't use elevators since I'm sweaty from the gym anyway. Just as I whip a right to go up to the last set of stairs from the 4th floor to the 5th floor, I see my neighbor's on the 3rd floor daughter coming down the stairs. We lock eye contact. We've never spoken before, mostly because we've never had a reason to, but also out of respect, I didn't want to make her feel uncomfortable since she's 19 to 21-ish and I'm slightly older. The most interaction we've had is that I've spoken to her mother and father before when bumping into each other on the stairs. I give a confused, hello? At this point, I'm thinking that she maybe just went to knock on my door to ask for something. A cup of sugar, maybe? I don't know. I was expecting her to reply with something like, oh, hi, do you have any XYZ? Nope, she gave a silent, hey, and brushed right past me. And only then, when the smell of my own shampoo hit me, did I notice her hair was wet, like fresh out of the shower a minute ago wet. Now, I'm not saying she showered in my house, or that I have a stalker that's been living in my house while I've been at work. She very easily could have just been there to ask for something, and most generic brand shampoos smell the same. But don't the pieces all fit a bit too well? Her hair color matches the hairs I would find around my apartment. And like I said before, they were everywhere, in my bed to my sock drawers. And if it's a case of me having a stalker, how did she know I came home early enough to bolt out of the shower in time? Our apartment doesn't have cameras, it's an older building from before 2000. And why would she be stalking me? For how long has she been doing this? We've never dated, never had a proper conversation, and I maybe saw her 20 times in the past 2 years given that I work and she presumably studies or works too. As all these thoughts are buzzing through my head and I'm standing outside my door for a solid 2 minutes grappling with what just happened, I go to turn the key to my door and it opens without me having to unlock it. And I know for a fact I always double lock my door. It's the type with a lock near the waist level and a second more secure lock with a different key around shoulder level. I drop my bag, throw off my shoes, and run to the shower. And yep, it's wet. I hadn't showered since yesterday morning. I'm a confrontational person. Not that I go looking for fights, but I'll definitely pursue an answer if something is bugging me. So back down the stairs to the 3rd floor I went, knocked on the door of my apparent stalker and her family. She opens the door, but with the chain still on. I see half of her face from behind the door. Yes? Can I help? Were you at my door or inside? I don't want to make this a police thing now, but you came down the stairs and I know you were inside. I just had to get something. It won't happen again. Okay, bye. See you. Door closed. This happened last month. I've been cleaning my house every weekend closely now and got the locks changed and put a motion sensor camera above my door. It only films and triggers on the steps coming up to my door so the 4th apartment can still have their privacy. So far so good. I don't think she's been inside since. But looking back, I think she'd been living in or going in or whatever into my apartment since January because that's the earliest memory of finding hairs. She never took anything of value like my laptop or the few watches I have. Seemingly, she just showered and ate some of my food and laid in my bed. I do now also always take the elevator and avoid the third floor like the plague. Edit, I'm not really worried about my safety because 1, I'm 200 pounds and do a lot of fighting training, and 2, the new camera has never gone off since I installed it other than myself triggering it when I am home. Finally, 3, I told the old retired husband and wife on the 4th floor that I suspected a robber was trying to break into my apartment last month. I didn't want to start spreading rumors and gossip, and then asked them to keep an ear out while I'm at work. I feel fine and safe, just creeped out, like my personal space had been violated. Edit 2. Someone DM'd me to check my coats and bags for air tags as to how maybe she knew I was coming home early that day. I don't have a lot of stuff, so I think I would have 100% found it by now, given how often I clean, but I'll defo do another sweep of my stuff. Wow, that's kind of a lot to process. I mean, she's definitely like going into the apartment, but it doesn't seem like it would make sense why. I mean, the first thing I thought of when I like saw the story of like someone, breaking in to use your shower is like they're just trying to save money on like the water bill or whatever. But this is like the daughter of a family who's like not paying any bills right now. She's around 20 years old, and this is just really weird. I mean, clearly she's like been tracking him somehow. She knows like when he's coming home, and I don't know, man. This is really weird. But there was an update that was posted about 6 days later on May 12th, 2026. Hi all. Update following my last post about a week back about me catching my neighbor coming out of my apartment, having used my shower. My cousin's husband is a police officer, so I went to him directly about filing a report. He came over to my apartment first as I gave him a visual breakdown of what happened on the stairs and changes the odd things I'd noticed in my apartment since January. Primarily just hairs everywhere and missing food, and how my door was unlocked that day. Though I did a thorough clean following the event on the stairs, my police friend was able to still find some hairs, and so we bagged those up. I gave him my statement in detail and some dates as best I could, when I remember finding the first hair, when I first noticed food going missing, etc. Also, he advised me not to talk to the family, not even with a friend, to avoid any confusion or get lawyers involved or muddy the waters with accusations. With all that done, he left and came back 2 to 3 days later. He and his partner went to talk with the family on Sunday because they knew both parents would likely be home then. Long story short, she confessed to everything immediately and broke down into tears and apologized once my police friend brought up how 5 months of entering someone's house, even with keys, is still very much an offense, and she could easily end up with a sentence of some should I pursue it. And that sentence could very easily involve the inside of a jail cell irregardless of if she stole something or not. I don't know how true this is. It might have just been my friend and his partner pressing and exaggerating for a confession, but it worked. They talked for an hour with the parents and her all in the same room to get answers from her. Then the same day he came up to mine with his partner and they gave me the breakdown. Answers to commonly asked questions below. How did she get in or have her own keys? The locks on our doors are the type that use a code on the lock barrel that only the manufacturer or partnered/approved locksmith has access to. She knew this because her parents got the locks changed when they first moved in, and in fact she used the same locksmith from all the way back then. The locksmith presumably remembered the family and apartment, but just didn't pay attention to it being the 5th floor this time instead of her own 3rd floor. So he came over and took the barrel out, saw the code, went in and made a set of keys, and done. I was none the wiser. Both my locks on my door are different brands, but presumably they operate in the same way, so having 2 locks made no difference. What was she doing in my apartment? Anyone who said she just needed space, you were right. She has 2 younger step-siblings and her mother is a tutor. Not a teacher as I presumed previously, she tutors at home. So at any given point, there's always some kids around the house. She would say to her parents she was going out to study or work or a girlfriend's house and use my house as a hotel while she studied or relaxed. The reason she used mine was partly because she knew it would be empty, but also because my schedule was predictable, as I work an average 9 to 5 like everyone else, but also leave the house at 6 to 6:30 to get my gym done too. That essentially gave her the house from 6 to 5. How long? My guess was right. It started in January, once she'd figured I'd broken up with my girlfriend at the time around November. My girlfriend would stay at mine when I went to work and back sometimes, so yeah, that would have been an interesting situation if they'd crossed paths. So then how did she know I was coming home early that day, and that I wasn't going to work straight after the gym like usual, and so she bolted out of the shower? Or on the days I didn't go to the gym, how did she know not to come in? Twofold. Firstly, I go to a commercial gym in my country, and so they have an app. Irregardless of if you're a member or not, one of the things the app lets you see is how many people are in each branch so you can see how full it is. All you have to do is download it and scan the QR code at the entrance by the turnstiles and edit to the My Gyms tab. It literally shows you like branch number 21, address, 9 out of 50, 18% full. And she would refresh the app in the morning, and if it went up by 1 around 6 to 6:30 a.m. and she heard me go downstairs or use the elevator, not hard when it's 6 a.m. and the apartment is otherwise silent, then she would know the house is empty. Now for the creepiest, most messed up bit of it all. She had put an AirTag on my car. She insisted that she had only put it recently and initially just presumably gambled that I wouldn't be home sooner than expected, or maybe she just put it near to the door. But then one thing led to another, and yeah, I don't know how much I believe this. Again, this could be an attempt to look not so guilty. That day when we clashed, she refreshed the app and saw I left the gym, but then my car didn't move. She connected the docks and tried to leave ASAP. When she heard me coming up the stairs, she didn't have time to lock up, and so we met on the stairs with my door remaining closed but not locked. The using my shower? She claimed she didn't do it always, just on hot days or days she couldn't at home. I can't deny or confirm this. Like I said previously, being a gym goer, I'd shower 5+ times a week or so. How did her parents never notice? Well, the dad leaves early for work, 5 a.m.-ish, since his bus route starts around 6. The mom is up around 6 to 7. But since she's preparing for her own students for the day and her own kids to send to school, she wasn't really too bothered with what her eldest 20-year-old daughter was doing really. She'd just say, "I'm going to the college library," or "I'm going to a girlfriend's," and that was good enough. Did she have a thing for me, like a crush? My police friend didn't really say anything about this, presumably he never asked since it's not as important as other details, or he never came back. And it makes little difference. How is my standings with the family right now? My mom and dad both apologized to me, the mom via text and the dad in person at my door. He offered to pay for the camera I installed as his daughter was the direct cause of it, but it was cheap off of Amazon, so I said no, it's fine. We had a 10 to 15 minute conversation, and he was very, very apologetic and explained his daughter had always been extremely quiet and well behaved, so something like this would have never crossed his mind in a million years. He added that his daughter's never had a boyfriend, at least that he knows of, and only has a few friends so her social interaction skills aren't necessarily top notch, and that even when guests would come, she'd hide away in the spare room. So the few people who predicted that maybe COVID and lockdown had led to her not having good social interaction skills, you were half right. He again offered me money for my troubles like missing food, new locks, and cleaning, etc., but I felt bad enough already, so I declined. He did also ask if I would press charges, and I again said no. More on that below. He said he will send his daughter to apologize to me in person too when the situation has calmed down, as she's apparently very, very tense and upset and hasn't left her room in days. Am I going to press charges? No. I'm still not happy about the situation, especially the freaking AirTag on my car, but the family is apologetic as well as the culprit herself, and honestly no one is going to gain anything from this. I would like an apology though. For anyone that cares about the extra detail, she got the AirTag as a gift a while back from her parents because she kept losing her stuff. Have I seen her since? No, she won't apparently leave her room and is terrified that I'll press charges, though presumably her family has told her I said I won't. How do I currently feel? Well, I was never especially worried or nervous, just really, really creeped out about the whole situation. It felt like I'd been a parasite host and somehow never noticed until then. I currently still feel a little angry, and a small part of me is thinking to seek revenge, but any revenge I seek, like money or slander, is truthfully going to impact the parents more than her. Do I feel bad for her? Truthfully, no. She's not 10, she's 20 or something and educated, so yeah, you should be remorseful, feel guilty, and scared. Get over that hump and we'll talk. Plus, there's loads of spaces like for young adults like public libraries and our college spaces. By no means was my house the only viable option. Finally, did she use my bed or wear my clothes? Believe it or not, yes, she did. Any advice I can give? Check your Wi-Fi devices. If I had checked that, I would have noticed her phone and laptop all the way back when. Obviously, my Wi-Fi modem is in my house, and so she helped herself to that. Again, it's one of those things. How often does one check their Wi-Fi devices? Truthfully, with all my family visiting and all the devices, I probably wouldn't have noticed one extra phone amongst the existing 10 plus, but I 100% would have noticed the one extra laptop. So let that be a lesson to all. And yes, I have removed her devices from the list and changed my password. And that's the end of the story. And something that I was thinking about and some of the comments are pointing out is, like, there's definitely no way she just wanted space because, like he mentioned, you know, she could go to a college library or something, or study space, but like, she was going to his house and she had all these plans to like break into his house specifically. and use a shower, lay in his bed, wear his clothes. Like, there's something else going on here. It doesn't seem like they're too far apart in age, so it's reasonable that maybe she had like a crush on him, and that's why she targeted him specifically. Like, and of course, she also noticed like when the girlfriend started showing up, so she was like, she had an eye on him for a while, it seems like, and only started trying to break into his house after the girlfriend left. And so she could like play pretend or whatever, pretend she's the girlfriend. A lot of people are also pointing out the gym app thing, like how did she know that the number going up by 1 was him? Like, and I guess that's kind of weird, but also if it's like maybe like a small town and he's like super predictable, like it's always going to be around 6 to 6:30 that he shows up in the gym. She can hear him going down the elevator or the stairs since it's like a small apartment. It said there's only 1 unit per floor, which also would make it easier to like predict when he's leaving. But it was probably not like the easiest thing to predict, and that's why she went to the level of putting the AirTag on his car. But yeah, it's weird. I mean, I think the biggest thing for me is like wearing his clothes. Like that's not something you do. Like laying in his bed, I can kind of understand if you like need a nap, but wearing his clothes is just not necessary unless she didn't want to like get like too much of like scent from her clothes on like his bed. But he still was gonna notice. Like she's definitely got a thing for him. I mean, man, this is a weird story, but yeah. So that happened as of recording about a month ago. But we're gonna move on to the next one, which is again posted best of Redditor updates, and it's called "Am I the a-hole for telling my husband his name suggestion for our unborn baby is idiotic at best?" Trigger warning: death of a family member, talks of Ted Bundy's crimes. The original post is posted on April 14th, 2022. Hello all. This has caused quite a stir on both sides of the family, and my niece suggested I post it here so as to garner unbiased opinions. And unfortunately, as it is relevant to the story, I will have to keep much personal information uncensored in the story. As such, this is a throwaway account. My 35F husband, 35M, and I are pregnant with our first child. We are overjoyed, as we have struggled with perceived infertility and miscarriages for the last decade. We want the gender to be a surprise, but may have to find out to settle this. I'm currently at the tail end of my second trimester. Now, my husband absolutely idolized his grandpa, who, unfortunately, passed away last week. My husband is devastated, especially about the notion that his children will never meet their great-grandpa who their father adored so much. As such, my husband has just suggested that we name the baby after grandpa. Theodore if it's a boy, Theodora if it's a girl. Either way, we will either call them Teddy or Theo/Thea respectively. It's not that I mind the name. The issue is that our last name is Bundy, spelled Bounde, but pronounced Bundy. I asked my husband, do you really see no issue in naming our kid Teddy Bundy? You don't think that would raise any questions? He says no, he's just honoring his grandpa. I told him he needs to think about how we will be perceived, how our child will be treated, and the implications that the name already inherently carries. I literally had to spell out why that would be a horrible idea, and he still thinks I just hate his grandpa. I told him no, grandpa was named in 1930 when the name Teddy Bundy wouldn't have been a problem. However, since certain events in the 70s and 80s, there's no feasible way we can give this name to our kid and not cause issues. He kept pushing and pushing until I blew up and told him to stop with the idiotic suggestion, and that's what it is, idiotic at best, sociopathic at worst. He got extremely upset and told his family and parents, who are divided. His family is obviously on his side and wants to honor grandpa by naming the baby after him. My parents are torn but on my side, as they understand the social pariah we would make our child by giving them such a similar name to the person who did such abhorrent and downright evil things to so many women. I mean, personally, I don't think anyone is just going to assume they were honoring a past loved one. They are just going to think of Ted Bundy. Am I the a-hole? Edit just to say that you guys are all proving my point that Ted Bundy is clearly still an infamous name. There has not been one comment that I didn't immediately make the correlation upon hearing my last name. That is exactly what I don't want to have happen to my child. Kids are stupid, and they're going to find a way to be mean. Let's not just hand them the material. Edit 2. Bundy's full name was Theodore Bundy. That's where this problem is ultimately stemming from. When a teacher reads the name for the role, whether it be Theodore or Theodora, they aren't going to assume a nickname, it's just going to be the full thing. Unsurprisingly, the original poster was voted not the a-hole. And just to give my quick thoughts on this, like I think it's kind of mean to call the name idiotic. Like the guy just wants to honor his grandpa, but he's also just really stupid for thinking that that's not going to be a problem. Like I can understand really wanting to honor your grandpa, like maybe do a middle name, but even that like can be risky if like their full name shows up somewhere and like friends see it or like people see it and then call them Ted Bundy anyway. Like that's just, you're gonna give your child a really hard time for not a good enough reason in my opinion. Also, if there's anyone that doesn't know, Ted Bundy is an infamous serial killer from the United States in around the 70s and 80s, as the post said. And yeah, I mean, he's about as bad as it gets. He's on the same level as like, Jeffrey Dahmer and all those other horrible serial killers, if you weren't aware who Ted Bundy was. To read some of the top comments on the original post, not the a-hole. If your last name is Dahmer, you'd probably stay away from Jeffrey. I share the name of a famous athlete in the state of the play he played college ball. I was 8 when he became famous, so I wasn't named after him, just coincidence. It comes with its own issues, nothing too bad. Outside of people thinking I'm him, finding my address by typing my name into Google and then stop by my house. It's happened twice. I couldn't imagine having to share a name with a serial killer. Yeah, I mean, there's not going to be people stopping by this guy's house thinking he is Ted Bundy, but still, it would be horrible to have that name. And then there's a final update that was posted about 4 days later after the original post. So I tried to make an update post, but decided just to throw my update in here. Essentially, my husband stayed with his brother and sister-in-law for a night, and they talked it out. His brother was also very close with their grandpa, so I think hearing the same logic from someone grieving just as much knocked some sense into him. They explained why he couldn't just name his kid Teddy Bundy, and especially because we live in the western US in one of the states where he operated and was also caught, imprisoned, and escaped. I don't even think it's legal to use that name. We spoke briefly on the phone before he came home, where I apologized for how rude I was when he kept suggesting the name. I explained that I was just stressed and he was seemingly overlooking just how bad it would be to have a kid with the same name as a very notorious serial killer, and I didn't feel listened to. He apologized as well, telling me that his grief was clouding his judgment and he also understands why we can't give our child Grandpa's name. While we did want to keep the gender a surprise, we felt like we had to look at the ultrasound to help to hash this out. We were having a baby boy, and decided to give him Grandpa's middle name, Silas. We've also decided to go through with marriage counseling, as well as grief counseling for my husband. He's asked me to attend, and I'm sure I could learn how to be more compassionate about his loss. I was never too close to with my grandparents, so I'm trying to be here for him, but I can't empathize as well as I could. All in all, this worked out. Thank you so much for everyone who gave their opinions. You really helped us out here. This will be my final update. I'm going to be deleting this account, and I've already doxed myself enough, and I've also been sent links to articles and videos that people have started using the story in. I have not been asked for any of them and just want to be off the grid now. Once again, thank you all so much. This was such a wild thing that I honestly never thought this would happen, but yeah, I'm so glad this has been worked through. Thank you everyone. It kind of sucks that this person had to really dox themselves for this post, and I feel like it could have been settled off of Reddit, but I guess to learn a lesson from this, grief can do different things to a lot of people, and it's important to try to be understanding. Like, I know that in the moment, this person, she didn't feel like she was being heard, and that's why she lashed out, but also, dude just lost his grandpa that he was super close to. He's not thinking right. You're not thinking right either. You gotta just sit on it for a few days, and that's what they did. And it all worked out. Alright, and there's one more story I want to get to. It's pretty long, so that's why I think it might be the last one for today. But it's called, Am I the a-hole for not delivering the food I made to an event I got uninvited to? And that's kind of a packed title already. Just going off of that, yeah, that's insane. If someone asks you to cook for an event, as a friend, and then get uninvited and then expect you to bring the food still, I mean, I don't see how they can be the a-hole in this situation. Anyway, the original post was on November 30th, 2024. Posted to Am I the a-hole, of course. 2 weeks ago, I got invited to a baby shower from a friend who I haven't seen in years. She moved to another state, but had apparently moved back and is now having her baby shower here. I was so excited since I haven't seen her in so long. She started a group chat with all the mutuals she invited. She did disclose that this was going to be a quick and small one since she had just found out that she was pregnant when she was 35 weeks with an induction scheduled on her 37th week. We all started volunteering to be responsible for different things for the baby shower. I said I'll cook Filipino food and help pay for some of the decor. I sent money to the friend who was in charge of decorating. I asked Mom to be how many people are invited besides the ladies in the group chat. She told me 15. There's 10 of us in the group chat, including me, so I thought I'll cook for 50 people to be on the safe side, just in case she invited a few more. I started shopping for greetings for the lumpia, pancit, chicken adobo, and rice with the grazing table. I'm sorry if I mispronounced any of those. I started preparing and coordinating with the decor lady. We figured where we wanted the food and grazing table and told the mom to be. She approved. Now the day before her baby shower, I spent the whole day cooking. I took off the day. I only work part-time since I'm the primary caretaker for my baby while my man works. Mind you, I had to arrange for my mother-in-law to watch my baby while I did all the cooking and for me to go to the baby shower. I didn't want to bring my baby since I would be busy with the catering. It was by luck she was off those days. Then the night before the baby shower, she DM'd me on Instagram that she had to quote-unquote make some hard decisions and had to uninvite me but still wants me to drop off the food. I told her I understand and respect her decision, but I will not be chopping off the food. She asked me why, and I told her it wouldn't make any sense for me to drive 75 minutes to drop off food to an event I'm no longer invited to. That the only reason I'd volunteered to do so was because I was invited. She asked me how she was going to find someone to cater on such short notice, that it was effed up and hateful. A few friends sided with her while most sided with me. I want to know from a stranger's perspective if I'm the a-hole. Edit. 1. I don't know the full story about her pregnancy. She told me that she went to an OB checkup because her period was unusually heavy and long. They found out she was 35 weeks pregnant and was having complications, which is why they scheduled an induction. 2. I've already sent the screenshot of the DMs to the 10 mutuals. 3 out of the 10 sided with her, which prompted me to post this because maybe I'm missing something. I was being told that I should have been quote-unquote an actual friend, that I should have been the bigger person, that she was going through a rough time with her pregnancy. 3. Mom-to-be never disclosed to me why she had to make a hard decision and why I was invited, which, the whole point of us 10 volunteering was to take off the burden off her shoulders. Our mutual friend, who was the decor lady, was the first one to reach out to me about not being there since she and I coordinated where the food was going to be at. She's also the one that told me that Mom-to-be was telling her and other people that I got my feelings hurt, which is why I didn't want to come. She didn't tell them what hurt my feelings, or how or when. I was too worn out from prepping and cooking to fire back. I took the peaceful route. I didn't ask for the money I spent on the decor, my gift, I guess. 4. I donated all the food to the women's and children's shelter. I figured they're more deserving. I cook Filipino food all the time, plus I got a freezer stash of lumpia. And like she said, the screenshot was attached, so I'm going to read a transcript of the texts. Ex-friend, hey girly, I know it's late, but I decided to change the guest list, and please don't think I don't love you, but after some real hard decisions, I had to take you off the list, but please don't take it the wrong way. I just wanted an immediate fam and close friends. Ex-friend, I appreciate you for all the support you put in, especially with the food, so it'd be great if you could drop it off. Like I said, please don't take it the wrong way. I love you still. Original poster. I definitely understand it. Unfortunately, there's no need for me to cater your event for free since the only reason I did it is because I was invited. I also put in a lot of effort because I consider you a close friend. Personally, it wouldn't feel right for me to cater an event I got uninvited to, so I hope you can see where I'm coming from. Have a good night, and I hope tomorrow is a great day for you and yours. Lots of love. Ex-friend. So you're not going to bring the food because I took you off the guest list? Are you being for real? Because I said it was a hard decision and I didn't love you or none? I think it's effed up you're going to cancel on such short notice. Like, I don't know who else can cater on such short notice. If you don't come through with the food like you said you would already, you already made it, so why not just bring it? This feels hateful. Original poster. No, I will not be bringing the food. You're a 75-minute drive, and as I said, I did it for free along with everything else because I was invited. I understand it's such short notice, but I also made time for your event and you uninvited me on short notice. I spent the whole week prepping and spent my whole day cooking. Ex-friend. Girl, I thought you were my friend, so for you to do this is effed up. Like, don't know why you can't just drop it off. Like, who else is going to be able to cater for tomorrow? It's late already and you know everyone is looking forward to the food. And that's the end of the transcript. Yeah, this is about as insane as I expected it would be. I mean, this quote-unquote friend is just trying to use this person for the food, and then wait until she makes all of it and like cancel in the last minute and then be upset about the short notice thing. Like, you were the one on short notice. I mean, it's the day before, the night before, probably. And you just said that she's uninvited, and then you're surprised that she's not going to bring the food. Like, it's a far drive. What, she's going to show up and drop off food and then just leave? Like, isn't she your friend? And then some of the comments, there's one comment that said, not only should you post these to the group chat, you should also make it clear exactly how much money you spent on the food and how many hours you wasted between buying, prepping, and cooking. And just for fun, bring up how much money you already contributed towards her event outside of food that you're not asking for back. The absolute shamelessness of this person is just mind-blowing. And the original poster replied, thinking about the fact I started prepping 4 days before and I started cooking, and then spending the whole day cooking just to read some stuff like that after I put all the food in containers, which I also paid for, made my eye twitch. But you know what? I don't like to throw numbers out there because I have dignity and decorum, but forget it. $200 on the decor, I paid for all the balloons from Party City, and then dropped $679 for the food. 20 pounds of ground chicken, 5 pounds of chicken, 10 pounds of potatoes, 12 bags of lumpia wrapper, 3 heads of cabbage, 5 pounds of carrots, 2 pounds of onions, 5 pounds of mushrooms, 10 pounds of jasmine rice. Edit. Can I just add that it took me the whole day to roll 300 lumpias? Logic, it was for 50 people times 5 lumpias equals 250 with an extra 50. Yes, 3 motherfreaking 100 lumpias. Posting this has itched me in a way that's making me dramatic vent, so I'm sorry. That is so much money to drop just like a week before this event that you got invited to. And like, for the person to not ask for it to be paid back, I gotta respect, honestly. Like, I don't know if I'd be able to do that. I mean, they did donate most of it to like a women's and children's shelter, and it sounds like she kept some of it for herself, but that's like insane. Almost $1,000 total on the decorations and food. Like, wow. Imagine having a friend like that that's so just down to like spend all this money for you and like help you out so much just for you to like cancel on them because you want them to bring free food and then not show up. Like, absolutely insane. And then here comes the update. It was posted on April 27th, 2026, which is about 16 months after the original post. Hi guys, I posted on here a year and some change ago. I had a friend who had invited me to her baby shower and disinvited me the night before. I finally reconnected with one of the 3 that sided with her. I also knew that a lot of you guys, and including myself, wondered what happened and why it did happen. Well, a lot of you guys guessed right. The 3 that sided with her knew I loved showing up for my friends. They knew I would go all out without hesitation. I put no monetary value on my efforts because if I can do it, then I will. Plus, I've been fortunate to be blessed financially, so I tried to share the wealth with my people. Anyways, according to her, Mom-to-be agreed that I would go all out, and I did. Me and Mom-to-be were good friends prior to her moving, so I had no reason why I wouldn't. We didn't have any issues, so I'm not going like, heck yeah, I want to do something amazing for her. The 4 of them agreed that they'll all play along as if I was going to be invited and ask me for updates on the food and whatnot, but then drop me after the baby shower. She said what her and the other 2 didn't anticipate was that Mom-to-be would uninvite me the night before. I guess Mom-to-be had something against me and just couldn't stand the idea of me being there. She thought I was a pushover and flaunted my quote-unquote wealth. That I do extravagant things for no reason, like posting vacations. That she felt some type of way because I was okay with spending all the money and not thinking about how it would make Mom-to-be feel. Like she was a charity case and she couldn't afford to do anything. She felt like I was outdoing her and the event was for her. This was from my understanding, so please take it with an open mind. But as I said in my previous post, the whole point of all the girls being there was to take the load off her shoulders since she was having a hard time with her pregnancy. I was blessed with an amazing baby shower, so I wanted her to have one too. Not out of pity, but because I did have a love for her before all the BS. There was never a time when I thought I was better than her or anyone. I just wanted her and the guests to have a good time. I'm a firm believer that what you invest in gets reciprocated the one way or the other. I value all my friendships and do invest in them when I can. So yes, for those who guessed it, I was never truly invited. You were right. It did leave a dull ache in my chest. While I did reconcile with one of the 3, although I told her that my trust for her has been broken and I'm not sure if our friendship would be the same. Yeah, I mean, these people are complete users. Like, they just totally wanted to use this person that was pretty well off financially to get some really good food for the event and then just uninvite her. I mean, she, like you said, she was never actually invited. She was only there to like bring their food and like help out and then just like not actually be there. She was never their friend, even though she thought they were her friends. And that's just, I mean, that can be sad and that's really hard to swallow, but also it's great that she found out how horrible they are so that she can avoid them in the future. So, yeah, and this is just like someone pointed out in the comments that this is just an insane scheme just to get free food for your baby shower. I can't imagine how self-centered you have to be to uninvite someone and still expect them to bring all that food. Good on OP for standing on her ground. Yeah, I mean, like, they still would have gotten free food if they let this person show up. Like, that's the thing. It was free. It was already free. They could have just had her be there. And if they don't like her, then, like, I guess you don't want to be her, but maybe that's the price you pay for the food, if that's what you really cared about was the food. Well, I don't feel like I got that much done today. I got a crappy little house finished, finally. Hopefully I can get some more stuff soon and start upgrading it, because I feel like all these people that make these videos are like always really good at building, and I think I'm okay, but this is just not making me look good, is it really? So I'm gonna work on it. I'm gonna get to the nether soon, get diamonds. I really couldn't find any good caves today. All I got was a bunch of iron, and I did some sheep breeding, and I killed some animals, and that's literally it. So, I mean, if you still watch the whole thing, I appreciate it. I hope you liked the video. Leave a like if you enjoyed, and maybe subscribe if you want to see more videos like this. So, I'm planning on making these semi-frequently, but we'll see. So, thanks for watching.